So I want to see some response. So if you can see my screen, you can hear my voice clearly. Kindly type in hi in the comment section. Let's get this party started. Okay, Carrie, good morning to you. Thank you very much for that confirmation. Um, okay, I can see Guston in the house. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Mais. Good morning. All right. So I want to take this as a confirmation that we're all on the same page. So it's a beautiful Thursday here, and I'm excited to welcome you to yet another promising session on the XTrend Speed Live Hub. My name is Sheriff Daramola, and in the next 1 hour, I shall be your host, where I will be taking you through a trading journey where we shall be evaluating the financial market using technical parameters to identify trading opportunities lining up for us today. Well, as usual, we are going to be reviewing all the pairs we've been monitoring since the beginning of the week. We are going to be looking at how well those pairs are doing, after which we are going to be planning and making a decision on what will be the next line of action against the New York session. And also, if you have any pair or commodity you want us to look at, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and let's see how I can include it to be part of our trading analysis for today. So without further ado, let's dive into the chart and let's see what's going on in the market right now. As usual, the first pair we are going to be looking at is the USOIL, and in the last 24 hours, we've been seeing this bearish momentum that has indeed taken over the market as price has continued to find lower lows and lower highs. Now, if we look at the current structure we have here on the 1 hour time frame, the first thing we'll observe here is that we finally witnessed the breakdown of that bullish trend line around this area here. So we finally witnessed that breakdown of that structure, hereby emphasizing the strength of the sellers at that point. Now, where are we as at yesterday? We were around this level yesterday where I told you that I already opted out of that trade after seeing buying pressure right around that bullish trend line. And I was thinking that there is a likelihood that price might continue to the upside after citing buying pressure on our lower time frame to take advantage of that trend continuation to the upside. But that did not happen, as we saw a final breakdown of that trend line to give us a signal that the bearish momentum is coming in. And immediately, I think within a couple of hours, we saw the retest of that structure, and we saw two rejection of that trend line to give us another leverage to join the decline to the downside. Well, I told you yesterday that even if price breaks down that structure, I would not be selling, and I did not sell. Well, and price continued to rally down to the downside. As we can see here, price moved over how many pips in profit that is. That's over 250 pips. I missed that out. But for those who took advantage of that move, kudos to you for being on standby to take advantage of that trade. Well, the reason why I said I wouldn't be selling at that point was because of the fact that we had a breakout of the $86 level. Remember the very important key level on the daily time frame, which was broken last week. And we saw a retest of that structure again during the course of last week's trading session, which gave me a clue that even if price breaks down that bullish trend line, we might be seeing a situation where price will come back into the $86 area. Then we'll be looking out for buying pressure around this area to join the rally to the upside. But that, unfortunately, that did not happen, as price continued to trade to the downside in such a way that we had this breakdown of the $86 level. And in the last 10 hours now, price has been caught within a consolidation phase right around the $85 level, which at this point in time, I will be labeling it as my demand zone. And the reason why I'm labeling this area as a demand zone is simply because of what happened in the past. You can see we have a structure around here. Last week, we saw the structure here. We saw the buy zone here. And I'm of the opinion that since we already have this, we have a memory for buying power around this area. There is a tendency that price might likely come here again to give us another buying momentum from this area. So the consolidation phase here simply tells us of how participants in this market are caught within an indecision right now as they are waiting for structure, a signal that will be inciting the next move. So going into the New York session today, what is going to be our plan on the US oil? Well, the first thing I want us to do here is to scale up to the daily time frame. Let's look at what is really happening on the daily time frame since the breakdown of this bullish trend line, and then the breakdown of the $86 level. Are we still going to be hoping for that buying momentum, or are we going to be getting ready to join the decline to the downside? So this is something we want to look at, and in order to do this, we want to scale up to the daily time frame so that we can have an holistic view of what is really going on in this market right now. Now on the daily time frame, I have been saying this at the opt-ins time of how we've been on a very strong bullish momentum in the last 2 years. As you can see here, we have this bullish trend line. The green line on your screen has been serving as a guide for bullish momentum in the last 2 years. Well, but that is not the most important structure at this point in time. The most important structure at this point in time is the $86 area, which has been a very strong determinant of price action in the last 3 to 4 months. And if we look into the structure closely, we can see how the $86 level, as at one point in time in the month of August, it was serving as a buying niche for participants in this market. Though we saw another buying pressure around here during the early days of the month of September, but this wasn't strong enough as a strong resistance from the sellers pushed price to break down that structure, and throughout the month of September, price has continued to trade right below the $86 area. And what this simply tells us at that point in time is that the sellers were actually strong at that point, and there is a tendency that we could be having a bearish momentum. But lo and behold, on the month of October, we saw the final breakout of that $86 level, which also lines up with the bearish trend line here to give us a bullish signal. And whenever we have a breakout of a structure, we expect that price is likely going to come back, do a retest of structure to incite the trend continuation to the upside. This is what happened like 3 weeks ago. We enjoyed that move after we cited the breakout of the $86 area here. So we took advantage of the breakout retest of the structure to push price to the upside. But as soon as price got into the $93.50 level, just like what it did here during the first couple of weeks in the month of October, we saw selling pressures around here, and the same thing happened during the course of the week, as we have been witnessing selling pressure since the beginning of this week to push price right back into the $86 level, which also shares a confluence with that bullish trend line that we identified earlier. So now going into the New York session today, what is really going to be our plan here? Now, if we look at the current structure here, as we can see selling pressure right around $93.50 level. Price came back into the $82 area. Then we saw another move back into the $93.50 level, but price wasn't able to stay there for that long, as we saw the sharp rejection of that level to emphasize the strength of the sellers around this area. So all attempt by the buyers to push price right above the $93.50 level has been met with strong resistance from the sellers, and as you can see, we saw this huge engulfing candle in the last couple of days now, taking price right back into the $86 area. And for me at this point, it is important we know here that the sellers are indeed very, very strong. So what we are going to be doing as we head into the New York session is simply to understand what is really going on right around the $86 area here, which also shares a confluence with the key level, with the bullish trend line, the green bullish trend line you can see on your screen right now. So we really need to understand what is going on here. Well, if we look at it from this daily time frame, there are two possibilities that could happen. We could see buying pressure around here to push price to continue to the upside, or we could actually see a breakdown of that structure, after which a retest should be giving us leverage to join the decline to the downside. So in order to understand what is really going on around here, let's scale back down to our 1 hour time frame, and let's make a decision based on the current structure that we will be seeing therein. Now back to the 1 hour time frame. The first thing that you will observe is that as soon as price, we saw this impulsive move coming right back into the $85 level. So we saw this impulsive move that started the week. Hold on a second. I want to give you a visual representation of what I'm talking about here. So we have this impulsive move that took price right down into the $85 area, and since then price has been caught within a consolidation phase, emphasizing the indecision in this market right now. So what we want to be doing at this area is to understand what the structure around the $85 area is going to be giving us. Are we going to be having a reversal pattern that will turn this area back into the demand zone that it was last week, or we could be seeing price break down that structure to incite a trend continuation to the downside? So in this regard, we want to understand what is going on here, and I think the best way we can do that is to scale down to a much lower time frame. Let's say the 15 minutes time frame, where we want to see what the structure around that area will be giving us. So now if we look at the current structure here on the 15 minutes time frame, well, first of all, we have the resistance level at the $85 mark. Let me adjust this a little bit so that we can see what I'm talking about here. Let me place this right at the top. Okay, so we have the resistance level here, and what we notice right around the $85 area is that we have been witnessing selling pressure around this level since the later part of the New York session yesterday, to give us a clue that the sellers are still very strong at this point. However, we've been seeing buying pressure around this area, so what we are going to be doing here is to connect the support level there and use that as a yardstick for trading activities for the New York session today. So I will be connecting this level, and what do we have here? I think we have the $84.60 level. So let's quickly label this for the sake of clarity. So we have the $84.60 level. Let's place this right at the bottom. All right, okay, so we have the support level of this channel figured out already. So, and from a technical standpoint, when we look at this closely, this is looking more like a bearish rectangular pattern, which is a trend continuation pattern, obviously. So we have this impulsive move right into the $84.60 level, and since then price has been caught within a consolidation phase. And from a technical standpoint, a theoretical standpoint, when we see a bearish rectangular pattern like this, we are looking forward to a breakdown of that structure like this. Breakdown retest of the structure should give us further confirmation that price is likely going to be going further to the downside at this point. So we want to be getting ourselves prepared if we cite a breakdown retest of the $84.60 area. So let me do this. So we label it right here. So we are going to be putting a sell here, and we are going to be selling the breakdown retest of the structure. So a breakdown retest of that structure should be giving us that signal to join the decline to the downside. However, it's always important that we take into consideration other perspective that might likely happen at this point, so that we don't get caught up in a dilemma when we see sudden spike or sudden evolution of price movement. So what I want to say here is that should price not break down significantly that $84.60 area, and we start seeing situations where price continue to climb to the upside, well, if a breakout of the $85 level happens, this might likely turn out to be a bullish signal, which for me at this point might be the incitation of the retracement of the impulse leg that we had here. So we could have a retracement back into the structure. Remember, we had this bullish trend line broken on the 1 hour time frame. We had a breakdown retest of this trend line on the 1 hour time frame, and from a technical standpoint, whenever we have a breakdown of a structure like this, we expect that one point in time price might likely come back to do a retest of that structure to incite a trend continuation to the downside. So if we cite a breakout of the $85 level, there is a tendency that a retest of structure might send price going back into this bullish trend line to retest it one more time, trend opportunity. And if we have that breakout of the $85 level, you might want to join the this counter trend right back into the structure with your take profit target somewhere around the $88 area and the $89 area. Let's place it like that. And as soon as price moves in our favor, you want to be moving your stop loss accordingly to protect your position, because we are actually on a downtrend scenario since the beginning of the week. So we don't want to get caught up in any sudden pullback that might take us out of our position in a loss. So if price continue to climb to the upside after the breakout retest of structure, you might want to take advantage of that and then move your stop loss accordingly as price continue to move in that direction. And if a breakout of the $86 level happen, retest of structure should welcome additional position to the existing trade. So this is how we want to be looking at this. So if you are not a counter trend trader, well, I will advise that you hold on and let's see how price action is going to be relating to this bullish trend line that was broken during the course of yesterday's trading session. So this is my view on the US oil, and I hope I was able to make things clear enough for you. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding what I've just discussed, feel free to drop in your inquiries in the comment section, and let's see how I can be of help in that regard.